We're going to start with our 2-minute plank, everyone. Okay, it's that section. Before we do that, we're going to do preparation. So we're going to lay on our backs. Lay on our backs, please. That's what I meant to say. Have your bender ball with you. We're going to get our legs in a double 90. We're going to place that bender ball between our thighs, and we're going to squeeze that ball while trying to keep a 90 and connect to the core. That's going to happen for about a minute. Begin. So we're in position. Good. Perfect parallel on the legs relative to the floor. I'm switching my view. Perfect. Fantastic. Good squeeze on the ball. And as you're doing that, right, we're drawing low belly into the floor. We're drawing ribs into the floor, shoulders down the back. Breath is deep through the belly and the spine. We got about 20 more seconds here. After about 15-ish, what I'm going to be looking for is that same shape in the leg is just going to migrate until you tap your heels or your toes to the floor very, very lightly, as if the floor was hot. Okay, so you're lowering your feet down in that perfect 90 in the legs. You tap the floor and then you realize, oh my goodness, the floor is hot. And with control, you lift that perfect 90 in the legs off the floor. Perfect. Meanwhile, we're keeping all of these isolations, all of these connections in the body. We're inhaling, we're expanding the ribs, we're exhaling, we're lifting the pelvic floor and connecting to those deep intrinsic core muscles. Good. I'm jealous. I want to get in on that. While we're here, can we work on keeping the heels outside of the knees as we squeeze the ball? So we have a little internal rotation going on in the legs. This is going to definitely give us a little bit more connection in the core muscles. Keep squeezing that ball, keep pulling the heels out. It's a constant process of reminding yourself here. If the head and shoulders are off the ground, you're just lifted to the lower border of the shoulder blades. Okay, that alarm means that we're holding position still. You're going to straighten your arms out and face your palms to the floor. Now we're just going to pulse the arms in what's known as a 100s action. So we're not flapping at the wrists. We're not flapping at the elbows. We're moving through the shoulders. That pulse is going to make our body bounce a little bit. It's like a little plyometric action in the core. Match the breath to the action. So typically it might be heels out, knees in, squeeze the ball or block or foam roller, whichever one you're using. So basically the femurs are internally rotating. Are my hip flexors going to burn when I do this? Yes, perhaps so. That is a consequence of doing core work until the balance between the core and the hip flexors adjusts. So where your core is stronger and you're not leaning so much on those hip flexors. 5 seconds. Beautiful, everybody. Do what you got to do to take a break, but we're going to keep it moving because we're rolling through this progression twice. So let's go back to our original base position, and then we're just going to hold that position static. Maybe if your head and shoulders was on the ground, Allison, how you doing? Okay, maybe if your head and shoulders was on the ground, you can lift the head and shoulders this time. The clock is rolling. That's it. And so you're only lifting up to the lower border of the shoulder blades here. Yeah. Chin is tucked and neck is long. So you're reaching through the crown of the head away from you. Keep squeezing that ball. Keep internally rotating the thighs. Good. How are the ribs doing? Are you drawing them in as well? We're not reaching with our chin like so. We're creating length along the back of the neck. And just notice that when you internally rotate your thighs, the lower core connects more. When you go kind of neutral in the thighs, you lose that connection a bit. I call that a neato Frito. Okay, that timer means we're moving right into let's do heel taps so that we can still emphasize that internal rotation in the thighs or the femurs or the legs. Heels out, knees in, squeeze the ball. Keep 90 degree as you're moving through that action. Good.
Adam,
Helene.
when you're doing your heel taps,
Yeah,
what should be happening with the lower spine? Should it stay
nothing.
slightly? Nothing. That's what I
Nothing.
thought.
So the legs are disassociated, right, from the pelvis. Now, we got about 10 more seconds here, if that. If your spine arches as you lower your legs, then that's just the sign that you've gone too far because you're losing that controlled neutral. Okay, quick, take a rest, shake it off. I'm going to give you just a moment of mercy briefly. Okay, there's your moment of mercy. We're going to do our 100s variation, okay? So we're just repeating what we did before. We're going to put the block, ball, foam roller between the thighs. We're going to set up that 90 in the legs. And then we're basically doing our cat. We're doing tailbone to belly. We're drawing the low abdominals in. We're drawing the pelvic floor up, and we're drawing the ribs in. Most easily on the out breath. That's where you can get that connection. Good, and yeah, exactly, you got it. We got 100s in the arms. The arms really aren't doing the moving, right? It's the shoulder girdle that is. It's the breath that's driving that pace. Beautiful, everybody. Heels out, knees in, flexing the feet so that we have structure throughout. Yeah, good, everybody. And rest it. Good. I know that it's working when I say and, all legs just drop down onto the ground. I could have been saying and 15 seconds more, couldn't I have? All right, the 2-minute plank.
The challenge for me is all in here.
All hip flexors, and I remember that being the thing for you before, Dan. So that means, again, one thing is that the easy thing is that the hip flexors are too short, so that you need to mobilize them a little bit more, open them a bit more. We do a lot of that work here, Dan, in my classes. Another thing is they just need to get a little bit stronger, right? And then the final thing, everybody, is here's my like universal question for every single class, even shadow boxing. Can you connect to those deep intrinsic core muscles a little bit more than the last class? Because the more that you can connect to those muscles, the more that you can use those to drive your action instead of supporting muscles like the hip flexors. Yeah? So that's more of a rhetorical, right? That's not like a solution for now. But that's essentially how it goes there. Yeah. But then that has been a thing for you quite a bit. So we'll focus on releasing as well. All right, we got 2-minute plank on deck, everybody. So this 2-minute time, this is a suggestion and a goal. I don't want you to throw out the baby with the bathwater, meaning don't hurt yourself trying to force it through, because we'll be doing this quite a bit. Ready, set, and begin. So the more that you can get the whole body to work together, let's use the ball to support or a block to support, right? You get that whole body working. So you get kneecaps on legs, you get core muscles connecting, you get the shoulders down the back, you get deep breath through the belly, the back, and the sides. Is this easy? No. But look, gang, you're already 1/4 of the way through. Heels out. So we're internally rotating the legs. It's the same reason we're internally rotating the legs in our last exercises. It's so that we can kind of engender a deeper connection to those core muscles. So, whoa, we're halfway there. Oh, we're living on a prayer, right? Kind of. We're actually living on our intrinsic core muscles here. And then from there, connect to the glutes, kneecaps on legs. Even the shin flexors are participating. Triceps on upper arm bones. Shoulders are moving down the back. Whoa, we're 3/4 of the way there. Doesn't quite sound as good. Okay, so we're in the last 20 seconds. Draw the ribs up. This is when the spine is going to start to sag. Okay, rest. Yeah, wrist care. Helene, you're the first one to do that. You get a golden ticket. So how did that go? Awesome.
Better than the last one.
See? Well, look, that's what happens when you do 2-a-days, everybody. Which is pretty much what y'all are doing. So again, I just want to reiterate, it's taking some of our time, but if, again, like the rest of the body working in concert with itself, right? The hand does the same thing. So always when you're on your hands, down dog, plank, it's called Astabandha in yoga, but this is actually physiologically great. Squeeze with your fingertips, the outside palm, then the middle knuckles and the outside of the hand, and then the outside of the entire palm. So think of it as 3 rings. And when you do that, you're engaging the muscles of the forearm, the tunnels, to help support the wrist like an ace bandage. Additionally, the musculature of the hand is helping support itself more. So it's just, when you're holding positions, we want to try to use as much of the body as possible most of the time to help support us, right? The hand is the same way. Now here's the paradox. When we do a pose with full body, does it make it easier? No, right? It makes it more effortful, but it also makes it feel more supported. And over time, it does get easier. There's this paradox that occurs when you do that. All right, so 2 exercises next. We're going to do it the same way. We're going to repeat it. So I want to do our corkscrew. You place the ball between your thighs for this, hands at your sides, and you're going to do the most controlled circle that you can. keeping both hips on the ground, okay? Back, left and right hip. So let's go one direction and then another. Okay, I don't want to see big circles if it's making you swing your spine. I'm going to have you do that for 1 minute. Pointed feet, straight and strong legs. Most controlled circle you can do, begin. So Dan, think about this. Bring your body into a 90 degree. That means your legs straight up, like this. Good. Straighten the legs as much as you can, and now draw circles from there, maybe a foot-long circle with pointed feet. Hands at your sides. Yep, and change directions with each circle. Now, what are we doing here? It's that same core connection that we were doing in our last exercise, right? So that's ribs in, tailbone to belly or cat. Take a rest. We're gonna bring our left knee up, hands just touching the back of the head. So we're not lacing the fingers. We're just touching the back of our head. Left knee comes up, right elbow meets it. And switch, and switch, and switch, and switch. Like your feet are on a Nordic track sled. The shins are just sliding past each other on the same plane for 1 minute straight. Timer's rolling. Bonus points if you could touch knee to elbow. What you're really doing here, you keep moving, I'll keep talking, is you're trying to separate the thigh bones from each other as much as possible. So the leg that's straight really straightens to the point where you feel even the glute work. Yes, Dan, you slowed it down. I like that. Point the foot when the leg's extended here, and that'll give you a little more leverage to work against, I should say. Beautiful. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going back to corkscrew, gang. So now you're squeezing your ball, you're squeezing your object, and really start with your legs straight up in the air. And I want you to focus on drawing a circle that is a foot diameter, okay? It's a small circle. Ready, set, begin. Now, keep both of your sacrum bones, the left and right sacrum bone, connected to the ground. So just the legs are moving. Squeeze the ball actively as you do this. Or whatever object you're using, pillow, foam roller. Focus on straight legs as much as you can. And focus on arms straight at your side. It looks like everyone's changing directions with each rep, and that's the right thing. So in Pilates mat, this is a double leg, our next exercise, or bicycle, whatever you want to call it, but we're repeating the exercise before this one. So now you're removing the ball from your legs, you're straightening out one leg and bending the other knee, and meeting it with your contralateral elbow. Begin. This is our favorite exercise. Again, just to the lower border of the shoulder blades if you can. That's kind of how high you're lifting your head. Good. Fantastic. And when we do this, we tend to think of our bending knee, but if you think of your straightening leg instead, this will get you more stable and connected to this movement. Holy smokes. We're doing great here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and break. Two options for our side plank, okay? Option one is going to be top leg support, side plank. Okay. Option two, we'll do a split leg plank. Okay, whichever way feels best to you. I like bottom leg forward, top leg back. And so we're going to hold plank. If you can't do it on your hand, elbow will suffice. But I want to see a real controlled lift and drop of the pelvis. Lift and drop of the pelvis. Lift, obliques are working here big time, and drop of the pelvis. Okay? We're going to work that 1 minute each side. Forearm or hand is fine. We're doing a lot of hand work, so if I see all forearms, I'm not going to be mad at this. Good. Now with your split leg side plank, if you flex as opposed to point your feet, you'll have more strength in the legs. Draw your kneecaps onto your legs. This is just like mountain pose, just like any other plank. Small, well, not small, but controlled lift of the pelvis. Squeeze the obliques, drop down and rest. Shake it off, wrist care real quick. Okay, other side, let's boogie woogie. So you could do top leg support. That's an excellent variation. I got the timer going, gang. Top leg support is fine and dandy for this because we're really emphasizing oblique connection. You can also do split leg, flexed feet as opposed to relaxed ankles, kneecaps on legs, lifting, connecting to the side core muscles, maybe looking at your top hand and dropping down, feeling that stretch in the side, squeezing up, feeling that connection in the obliques. 20 seconds. Two seconds. Rest. Good. Nice work there. All right, so we're going to have our pole. We're going to have our strap on hand after wrist care. We're going to do a upper thoracic, upper spinal lift, upper spinal extension. Couple tries, I got it. Strap or bar. I like the bar because it just gives us a little bit more resistance. So we're going to go with what we call power wrists, which is not wrist bent back. It's the belly of the forearm engaging to make a straight line from our punching knuckles to the tops of our shoulders. You're going to start on the ground. You're going to lift your kneecaps off of the ground, all 10 toes on the floor. And then you're going to reach the bar down the back of your legs while you keep your spine long. And you're just going to hold that. Ideally, the bar is going past your glutes. We're not reaching through our neck like so. We're keeping the neck long. Okay, I'll tell you when my timer is on, and then I'll give you some additional cues here. So find that position. Timer's going. Power wrists. So reach your knuckles behind you so they're straight. There you go, Helene, you can even go more. Dan, go palms down, my friend. Yes, and then reach through the punching knuckles. So we're not here, or here. There we go. And now pull on your bar or pull on your strap like you're trying to stretch it. Breathe deeply through the belly and the back and the sides. And again, all 10 toenails are on the floor with feet pointed and kneecaps lifted. 5 more seconds. Relax for a moment. Good. Doesn't that feel fantastic? Now, mountain pose both legs, but point the feet. That means make your legs as straight as possible. Turn on that intrinsic core connection. Spread the bar or your strap with your hands. So already before you've lifted your head, you're in a back bend. Agree? It feels like it. Now we're going to lift the legs and the upper trunk, the spine, off the ground, but we're keeping elongation all throughout. So the chin is tucked, the neck is long. Your eyes are only looking down, maybe about 8 inches in front of you at the most. Fantastic. You're squeezing the midline with your legs, but keeping the legs straight. We're working on keeping mountain pose wrists or power wrists. 30. Dan, right now you probably feel the tops of your forearms, the sides facing the ceiling, working a little bit. Try to get the other side of your forearms working. So straighten your wrists a little bit more. That'll get your back muscles connecting a bit more. Everyone straighten your legs and see if you can lift your legs for this last 5 seconds so high off the ground that only your hip bones are on the ground here. And rest, release. Bend the knees, keep the knees on the ground, and windshield wiper the feet left to right gently. Just release out the low back for a second there. It is challenging when you're in it, but it feels so good when you're out of it. All right, gang, so one more movement here. I want to go with our reverse plank. So really all these things, we're preparing our body for taking our body into plank in different orientations. So our options here are going to be our tabletop plank, tabletop reverse plank. Let's, oh, hey. Use your ball or use your block between the thighs for this one. My feet are hip width distance. My hands are about 1.5 to 2 feet behind me. Fingertips are back. See, I'm wiggling my fingers here. Now, I'm going to squeeze the block, connect to the core, and squeeze my glutes. Press my hands into the ground to press myself up to tabletop, opening my chest, and then I'm going to lower back down. And I'm going to rinse, wash, and repeat for 1 minute. Ultimately, what we'd like to get to is the same thing with straight legs. Squeezing our block or our ball, fingertips back, shoulders open. Squeeze the legs, the core muscles, the glutes, open the shoulders, press the palms into the ground to go into reverse plank and then lower down, but float your butt off the ground. I haven't started the timer yet, so shake it off if you did a couple practice ones. This is our final set. Begin. Now, I'm going to give you some tips to make it more ergonomic. If you're feeling it in the elbows, widen your hands a little bit or turn your fingertips out to the side, like so, as opposed to this. Press the soles of the feet in the ground if you're in tabletop. Squeeze the ball and squeeze the glutes. And that's kind of how you get the most juice out of that orange, at least pertaining to the low body. Johnny 5 alive, we're looking good here. So ultimately, when you're in the top of this position, You have a straight line-ish from the crown of your head to your kneecaps if your knees are bent. You have a straight diagonal line from the tips of your toes to the crown of your head if you're in full variation. Take a rest for a second, shake it off, wrist care. Good, gang. So, you know, these are movements that we find ourselves doing in evolutionary, our yoga class or other classes where we can kind of zone in more, but I just want to pace it out. So let's do this one more time static. So we're not doing reps. We're doing our best to hold this in its peak position at duration. 1 minute. Ready, set, begin. This is it. After this, home run. It's time for brunch, right? Go to your favorite restaurant and have avocado toast and mimosa. Oh yeah, we don't, shoot. It's nice to dream, isn't it? Eat avocado toast and have mimosas and say things like, ha 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 ha. Sorry. Terry, that is an exemplary reverse plank. Now let me get back to business for this last 20 seconds. You're hugging the upper arm bones with the muscles of the arms. Terry, that's fantastic. Keep working it. Squeeze the glutes a little bit more, pull the navel in. See if you can go even deeper there. Good. Dan, your upper shoulders are the thing, man. For this last 5 seconds, I want you to draw your shoulders down your back and draw your chin back. Open your chest a little bit. There, that's length, and rest quite a bit. So, okay, everyone good? Everyone feeling okay? Awesome. Any questions before we roll out?